Hi, Cruise by Mandy for the fifth segment of a little bit of math tidbits of math in the real world, or as I might say, cruise math in the travel world. So you can see how working with a CLIA certified cruise specialist that is knowledgeable about not only the cruises, the cruise ships, the cruise lines, the destinations, but also the ways to best give you the overall value of your money and cruise experience with our expertise. Here's one that might blow your mind a little bit. So if you watch the first four, which I do suggest doing before watching this one, you'll see that I've talked about how some of my exclusive group rates that I pull personally, they are not, a lot of times they are not the headquarters group rates, because I pull my own space when I know there's a certain date that I can feel feel what I'm taking. That's historically the last 12 or 13 years that I've been doing this full time, that is popular among my clients, because 99% of my clients are repeats and referrals. This might blow your mind. So somebody will say, hey, I want to go, my family of 4, we want spring break. Of course, everybody in your state and the next state over pretty much almost all have the same spring break like my family does this year. I've got a child in high school and a child that's a freshman in college up in Oklahoma. Go Pokes. But our spring break is tough. And I look at, I'm a family of 4. My husband has to bid vacation like over, like a year in advance, doing seniority with the airline. But I really look at how can I make this work for my family of 4. So sometimes a family of 4 in one room might mean bunk beds for the kids, 0 privacy for you and your spouse at night, and then also 1 bathroom. Okay, talk about family dynamics there. So let's talk about this. Also, some deck plans may look like a Crayola box of 64 colors that we had as kids has just exploded. And that's where I know not only what these mean, but where are the best locations and what is it like when you have to go back to your room because you forgot something and you're like, oh, great, really, where do I need to go? Or what's around you? What's a good location? And that's why I personally go on the ship. So I'm going to take a family of 4 example for our spring break. And I just pulled numbers, and let's take a very quick look here. And I've already talked about how my exclusive rates that I pull can be different from what we see elsewhere. So here we go. Scenario A, scenario B. First of all, scenario A, my family of 4 wants to cruise for as cheap as possible. Get us in an inside room, non-refundable deposit. I don't care if it's a guarantee. And I pulled that up and it was $4,182, $41.82. Okay, now let's play with it. Do all 4 of these people have to be in the same room? No, because to be in compliance with the minor policy, if you have your children next door sharing the same wall or directly across the hall with the doors opening towards each other, we can break into 2 rooms on this particular line that I'm thinking of in this scenario. So I'm going to break into 2 rooms because 2 bathrooms, I have 2 teenage girls. And you got, a perimenopausal wife here. We need some space. So we women, we understand this. So I'm going to break into 2 rooms. So scenario A, looking online, I can break into $945 per person for a double occupancy, which means 1 room of 2 is going to be $1,890. So times 2 rooms, I didn't do the math here. That's going to be like $3,780. So far, we're thinking that's pretty good. I could cram all 4 of us in 1 room with non-refundable deposit for $4,182, or break into 2 next door neighbor rooms, have some more space, get some alone time with my husband, because we moms know we always need that. And so then I've got that right there for $3,780. So far, that's a win. That looks like a good deal because I can save roughly $400, double my space, and have 2 bathrooms and have some time with my husband at night. I can set our bed for one bed and the girls' room for 2 twin beds. It works great. They're on each side of the room. They got a couple of nightstands between them. They got their space, their own bathroom. So let's check that out. Now let's talk about back to video 1. I talked about how sometimes I have these exclusive rates that I can't find. ChatGPT can't find them because they're exclusive to me. They are not shared with my agency. Even if somebody else says, oh, I'm part of the same agency, we get the same rates. No. They were not up at 2 a.m. when I am pulling those rates and putting my personal money down to hold them for my clients. Big difference. You don't know my rates unless we've chatted. And I don't always advertise them publicly because every other person wants in, no, these are for my clients, not everybody else's clients. So I really save these for my repeat and referral clients first to get first dibs. So let's look here. My rates for that same cruise on the 2 rooms, breaking into 2 rooms again, are $779 per person, which equals $1,558 per room. So far, that's a pretty good difference. I'm saving 17% just compared to the normal rates. Again, refundable deposit for my exclusive rate, non-refundable deposit for what we see online. But now I know I need 2 rooms because there's 4 of us and I'm putting the girls right next door to be in compliance. I'm listing them that way and I'm calling in and getting the verified minor code for that as well. So let's see what this might look like as well. Take that. That difference right here is now where the really cool magic happens. Again, this was refundable deposit and this was non-refundable deposit. How much money did I just save you right here between these 2 numbers? Well, let's see. 3780 minus 3116. 10 minus 6 is 4, and I still say minus. 10 minus 6 is 4. 7 minus 1 is 6. 7 minus 1 is 6 and 0. That's $664. And it's the refundable deposit rate. And I'm usually able, instead of taking extra bonus commission I could take if I had a group rate, I choose to give it back to my clients. So I try to take it as a $50 per room onboard credit instead of me pocketing the money. So I give it to my clients. When you see that $50 credit, that's coming from me because I could have taken it another way. So again, we start it with, you look online, you're a family of 4, and it's like, oh yeah, I can get it for $41.82, non-refundable deposit. That's huge. Or cruise math says, break it into 2 rooms so we can get it down to $37.80, but then work with your CLIA advisor, such as your Elite Cruise Counselor like myself, and I can even get that down to $31.16. So when somebody comes to me with a budget and I say, what is your budget? Let's talk realistically. I'm trying to bring it down as much as I could. If I were a salesperson, it would be easier, a lot easier just to do that $41.82, book it, non-refundable deposit, and we're done. That's a lot less work for me. Otherwise, I'm building 2 rooms. I'm calling in to get the verified minor coding to keep everything in compliance. I'm making sure your 2 rooms are adjacent. And I worked harder to make less money on my end to benefit you. So that's cruise math number 5 of an example for this March out of Galveston, Texas. If we're not chatting, we should be. Cruise by Mandy. Let's look at the next one.